Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we dive into the powerful and emotional story of the John F. Kennedy dollar coin, a coin that captures the spirit, leadership, and enduring legacy of one of America's most iconic presidents, a man whose influence continues to shape history long after his life was tragically cut short. And as we explore this coin, you'll discover the deep symbolism behind its design, the rare variations sought by collectors, and the hidden value that makes this presidential dollar much more than just a circulating coin, but instead a tribute cast in metal to a leader whose words and visions still echo across generations. Because when the United States Mint introduced the presidential dollar series in 2007, they wanted every coin to feel like a moving piece of history, and the John F. Kennedy dollar, released in 2015, instantly became one of the most admired coins in the entire series, featuring a bold, confident portrait of Kennedy based on official presidential photographs, showing him with his distinct profile and determined expression that inspired millions during his time in office, and surrounding his portrait are his name, his presidential term from 1961 to 1963, and the mottos of the nation he served, all of it struck with a modern design that honors the courage and optimism he carried into the White House, while the reverse features the iconic Statue of Liberty, symbolizing freedom, hope, and the promise of America, a promise Kennedy himself fought to strengthen through civil rights progress, space exploration goals, and diplomatic efforts around the world. And even though these dollar coins were not heavily released into everyday circulation, they became instant collector favorites because of their emotional weight, their detailed craftsmanship, and the fact that many Americans still feel a deep connection to JFK's legacy, making these coins preserved in rolls, bags, and mint sets especially prized today. Particularly the uncirculated and proof versions created with extra care, sharp details, and a beautiful finish that coin enthusiasts love, while some collectors chase special edge lettering varieties because unlike traditional coins, the presidential $1 coins have inscriptions like the date, mint mark, E pluribus unum, and In God We Trust engraved on the edge, creating occasional misalignments, weak impressions, and rare errors that can dramatically increase the value of individual coins. And what makes the John F. Kennedy dollar even more fascinating is how it bridges two powerful worlds of American numismatics, standing alongside the famous Kennedy half-dollar that began in 1964 and has become one of the most collected coins ever struck in the United States, meaning that when people add the JFK presidential dollar to their collection, they're adding not just a coin but a piece of a much bigger story, one that reflects national pride, innovation, and remembrance. And for those who hold the proof version struck at the San Francisco Mint, these coins shine with mirror-like fields and frosted details that bring Kennedy's portrait to life with stunning clarity, making them preferred for showcases and long-term collectors who value pristine condition and historical significance. And even though most John F. Kennedy dollars sell modestly, the rarest pieces, such as high-grade MS or PF70 coins certified by major grading companies, have achieved impressive prices in auctions, especially those with flawless surfaces and perfect strikes that make them stand out as premium collectibles, while error coins like missing edge lettering, doubled edge inscriptions, off-center strikes, or planchet anomalies have brought surprising premiums because collectors love coins that combine history with minting mistakes, and every time someone holds this coin they feel a connection to a president who inspired the nation with words like, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." And that emotional meaning is part of why this dollar remains a favorite for collectors, educators, and anyone who admires the legacy of John F. Kennedy, making it a coin that is far more valuable emotionally and historically than its simple face value suggests. While the highest confirmed price ever paid for a flawless JFK presidential dollar in perfect certified condition reached an impressive $5,000 in a major auction, proving that even modern coins can achieve remarkable value when history, rarity, and collector demand come together in the right moment. When we move deeper into the world of the John F. Kennedy presidential dollar coin, we step beyond the basic design and history and enter the thrilling territory of rarities, errors, and hidden treasures that collectors chase with excitement because even though this coin is modern and widely admired, the minting process behind the presidential dollar series created surprising variations that transformed ordinary coins into valuable finds waiting to be discovered, and the JFK dollar in particular produced some remarkable error pieces that today stand out as silent accidents of history, beginning with the most famous type in the entire series, missing edge lettering, because unlike most coins where inscriptions are stamped onto the faces, the presidential dollars have their date, mint mark, and mottos engraved around the edge in a separate step. And when the coin accidentally skips this step, it results in a smooth-edge coin with none of the lettering it was supposed to have, a mistake collectors call a godless dollar when the motto "In God We Trust" is missing. And even though this error was most famous on earlier presidential dollars, a small number of John F. Kennedy dollars also escaped the mint without edge inscriptions, instantly turning them into modern rarities worth far more than face value. especially in high grades. And then there are the double-edge lettering coins where the coin is accidentally fed into the edge lettering machine twice, creating two overlapping sets of inscriptions around the edge that tilt at different angles like ghosted shadows, an error highly prized because it requires both a mechanical misalignment and a perfect chain of events for the coin to survive, and whenever such a coin is discovered, collectors immediately recognize it as something special, something created by chance during a moment of pure mechanical chaos inside the mint. And even more dramatic are the off-metal or wrong planchet errors where a coin meant to be struck on a manganese brass presidential dollar blank is instead struck on another denomination's planchet, such as a quarter or a nickel blank, producing a lighter, thinner, and completely unusual coin that looks and feels entirely different from normal. And when it carries the portrait of John F. Kennedy, it becomes one of the most surreal and sought-after modern minting mistakes because it visually contradicts everything a collector expects from this series. And then we have off-center strikes, broad strikes, weak edge impressions, and missing layer errors where the coin's outer layer peels or never fully fuses, exposing the core metal beneath and giving the coin a dramatic appearance that instantly sets it apart from regular examples, making these pieces standout highlights in advanced error collections. And what makes the John F. Kennedy dollar especially interesting is that collectors hold a deep emotional connection to JFK's story, so the demand for errors and high-grade examples is far higher than for many of the other presidents in the series, meaning that even small imperfections or unique anomalies can command strong attention at auctions, especially when certified by leading grading companies like PCGS and NGC, and this is where the value begins to climb, because while a normal uncirculated Kennedy dollar might be common, a flawless MS-67, MS-68, or the extremely rare MS-69 example becomes a jewel of modern numismatics, often requiring intense preservation, perfect striking pressure, and a planchet free from even microscopic marks, and the scarcity of these high-grade survivors is why collectors compete for them fiercely, pushing auction prices upward, while proof strikes from the San Francisco Mint shine at even higher levels because their mirror surfaces and deep cameo frost make every detail of Kennedy's portrait look sharp and intense, especially when they achieve a perfect PF70 grade where even the tiniest flaw would disqualify the coin, and as a result these perfect-proof JFK dollars regularly stand among the highest-valued modern presidential coins, especially when they exhibit beautiful contrasts and no haze or spotting, and the story becomes even more interesting when we look at collector sets, rolls, and bags originally issued by the Mint, because sealed rolls with visible mint marks, unopened boxes containing Kennedy presidential dollars, and original proof sets often carry a premium because collectors love untouched material, especially when the coins are preserved exactly as they left the Mint, offering the chance of discovering a high-grade or error coin hidden inside, and this has created a treasure hunting culture around the JFK dollar where people search through rolls, bags, and boxes hoping to find a rare error or a perfect grade piece, and every once in a while someone uncovers something incredible. A missing edge lettering piece, an off-center strike, a doubled edge lettering error, or a flawless condition coin that looks like it was struck yesterday, and these discoveries show that the John F. Kennedy dollar, even though it is modern, still carries all the excitement and unpredictability that define the world of numismatics, because value isn't only about age but about rarity, condition, demand, and the emotional story behind the coin, and the highest value ever paid for a John F. Kennedy presidential dollar in perfect, flawless certified condition reached an impressive $5,000 in a major auction, proving that even contemporary coins can transform into remarkable treasures when they meet the perfect combination of rarity, quality, and collector passion. As we reach the final chapter of the story behind the John F. Kennedy dollar coin, we find ourselves reflecting not only on the metal and minting but on the extraordinary legacy of the man whose portrait it carries. Because this coin is more than a collectible and more than a modern denomination, it is a symbol of hope, courage, and the unforgettable mark JFK left on the world, standing as a reminder of a presidency that still inspires millions long after its tragic end. And when you hold this coin in your hand, you're holding a piece of American memory, a tribute to a leader who believed in unity, progress, and the limitless potential of the American spirit, and this is why collectors treat the JFK presidential dollar with such reverence, why it holds a special place in albums, display cases, vaults, and personal collections across the country. Because every coin preserves the story of a man who pushed boundaries, challenged generations to dream bigger, and envisioned a nation not guided by fear but by opportunity, and what makes this coin even more powerful is how it connects two great numismatic legacies: the long-running Kennedy half-dollar that began in 1964 and this modern presidential dollar released decades later, each representing a different era of minting technology yet both honoring the same figure, linking past and present in a way no other American coin does. And as collectors continue to search for rare errors, perfect grades, and hidden treasures within The JFK dollar series, the story grows deeper because every discovery, every auction, every roll opened adds another chapter to this living narrative, showing that even in a world filled with modern coins, some pieces rise above the rest not because of age but because of meaning, and the meaning behind the John F. Kennedy dollar continues to shine brightly, capturing the imagination of those who cherish the profound emotional weight that comes with owning a piece of Kennedy's legacy. And as the years pass, this coin will only grow more iconic, more appreciated, and more recognized as a symbol of leadership and inspiration, reminding us of the man who stood at the podium and spoke words that moved an entire nation and continue to echo today, words that push us to be better, to think bigger, and to believe in the strength of unity and purpose. And that is why the John F. Kennedy dollar remains one of the most beloved pieces in modern American numismatics, not simply because of rarity or value but because of what it represents, a coin that transforms history into something you can hold, something you can pass to the next generation, something that keeps alive the vision of a president who dreamed of a brighter future for his country and for the world. And as we close this journey through the design, the legacy, the errors, and the value of the John F. Kennedy dollar coin, I hope you now see this piece not just as currency but as a miniature memorial, a shining tribute struck in metal, forever carrying the spirit of one of America's most influential voices. And with that, we officially conclude the story of the John F. Kennedy dollar, a coin that continues to inspire, continues to captivate, and continues to connect people to a leader whose impact will never fade. Thank you for joining this journey and uncovering the history and hidden treasures of this remarkable coin, and as always, thanks for watching.